Hey guys, dethplaque here, and today I'm going to be doing a video on the 2-week ambush invasion race. I know it's a little late because it's been over for about a week now, but I've been wanting to make this video for a while, giving my thoughts on both the ambush and invasion leagues, and this 2-week race was a perfect way for me to talk about both. Now, basically, the one thing that I was going to talk about first off is just they raised a lot of money for Child's Play. I was impressed. $25,000 is a lot of money, and I was really happy to see that that's going to such a good cause. And I also really wanted to see Chris shave his head. So if you guys haven't seen that video, definitely go look it up. Another thing that I was going to talk about is the invasion bosses. This is for the invasion league and for that 2-week race. I feel like all the ambush or all the invasion bosses, the unique invaders, are perfect except for two. One of them is the miscreation summoner boss. She is, I'd say, a little too overpowered. They need to nerf her a small bit. Her storm call is extremely powerful, and she does the cursing and all that. And it's a lot of times hard to get away. Where you see her, she starts casting, and if you don't get out of the way of her storm calls, you can get hit really easily, um, and you can get killed pretty quick. That's the only big thing about her that I'm really thinking should be nerfed is that her storm call is really strong, and if that's nerfed a little bit, I feel like she can be perfectly balanced. The other boss I feel like that should be nerfed a little bit is the Hail Rake Invader, the one that's based on Hail Rake. Basically, the way that he works is from a distance he's a little hard because he has that really long glacial cascade, but if you get close, he starts doing that crazy Ice Nova with I can't even tell. It just looks nuts. Um, but when you find him, I tend to actually avoid him a lot, just simply because if you get too close, he can kill you really quick. You get frozen, and it does so much damage that it's just really hard to fight him. So that's another boss I feel like could be nerfed. But other than that, all the invasion bosses are perfect. I love them. They're so much fun. They have just the right amount of risk where you don't know if you want to do them depending on which one it is, and they have just the right amount of drops where I notice that they're actually scaling. Like the Glass Maul, the Chatter's Invader, doesn't drop as much as one of the unique, like the Dominus Invaders, for example. The the Hammer guy with the fireballs and the Totem Firestorm one. I think those are the two. Yeah, but they actually give more loot because they're harder. And Glass Maul is the easy chatters guy, and you can just take him out real easy. So I really like that the risk actually helps scale the drops, which is perfect. I really like that. The next thing I was going to talk about is actually with the Strom boxes. I was going to ask just a question. I want to hear what you guys think. You can leave a comment or just talk about it while I'm on my stream. Is how do you guys feel about the how balanced the Strom boxes are? I've noticed that, I mean, there's some glitchiness where with desync, but I'll get to that later. But I feel like they're actually, me personally, I feel like they're a little too easy. I know some people are gonna probably be mad that I'm asking them to make them harder, but honestly, like they're pretty easy. Um, there's a couple, mainly the Ice Nova. I was gonna get into that too. That's a little OP, but I feel like they could increase the AOE of some of them, like the explosion. That's a really small explosion. I feel like to get that reward inside that chest, you should have to take that explosion or maybe make it like a radius thing where if you're right next to it, it does a lot of damage, but as you're running away, it has less and less damage, but you still get hit by it. I feel like just being able to run out of there is just too easy. I've been kind of clicking, you just pop your Quicksilver and run out, and you're fine. Um, Another one that I was thinking too was actually the Firestorm and the Lightning Storm. Their radius is just really small. I feel like they should be a lot bigger because the Ice Nova is huge, and these are both small. You can get away from these really easy. The Ice Nova is hard to get away from, especially if you get the Frozen mod with it, where you freeze on like a rare one. That can be really hard to get away from and devastating. So, uh, I was just gonna see how you guys thought um, about those particular skills and how you feel about strong boxes in general. The next thing I was going to talk about is the skill block. Well, actually, you know what? We'll go into the skills still, staying back with the how overpowered they are. I'm going to put a little insert here of one of my experiences with the Ice Nova. I like how big they are. The radius is fine with me. It's just a little inconsistent about how much damage they do. If you're fighting a boss, or I shouldn't say a boss because the hair rake ones are pretty strong too, but the let's say a regular mob or a blue mob, or maybe some rare mobs, not the unique ones, but the rare mobs, if they use Ice Nova, you're not gonna take that much damage. It's gonna do a little bit. You might get frozen. That can be kind of devastating. But other than that, it's not that bad. But when you're doing the boxes themselves, the Ice Novas are scary. They do a lot more damage, and they're huge. You do not expect them to be as big as they are, which I like the size of them, but I feel like they can be nerfed just a little bit. Because I was almost one-shot by them multiple times. No, the explosions, I've never even come close to being one-shot by them. Maybe once in, like, Merciless. But the Ice Novas are huge, and they do a lot more damage than I feel like the other mods do. So it really depends on how you feel about those. I really don't. I think they should be nerfed a little bit, but some people I know probably feel they're just right. Um, but the other thing I was going to talk about now, kind of leading away from that, is the desync problem. Um, the only time I didn't die at all to any strong boxes, I actually didn't die at all in the 2 week race. So I wasn't having a lot of problems there, but it was mainly in the in ambush. I've had a couple problems where I know a lot of people have it. You open a box, tons of mods pop out, so you lag a little bit, and then there's also the problem with the desync. You go to run out, and you're all of a sudden back in that group of mobs, and you just get destroyed because you're desynced right back into the group. So I mean, I feel like the only way to fix this would be to increase the area in which the monsters can spawn, which I think would be kind of cool. Instead of them all spawning on top of the box in a big pack, spread them out. That way you have the desyncs a little less, but then you also have to deal with, if you're running out and there's some stronger guys, they can be hitting you as you run out. So I feel like that can be balanced both in those ways. It makes it easier to get out, but it also can make it a little scarier because you have to run out of all these big groups of mobs. They all are mobs, and they all can hit you. And I feel like that would be a great way for grinding gears to really balance that desync issue, as well as make it still strong enough where you're going to be really scared. The only downside I can see to this is that in small areas, like in, let's say, like prison level 1 or like catacombs, you are going to have a little bit of a problem. I guess they're going to be spawning in different rooms if the radius is big. But I mean, if that's the way it's going to work, I think that would be more balanced than having them all right on top of you and you can desync and die. Because I know that's a real big issue. I've died to that a few times in ambush, but honestly, I think that's the only way I think it could be fixed, because desync's going to be there and lag's going to be there simply because you're spawning in so many monsters at once. Basically, the last thing I was going to say is the re-rolling boxes can be kind of annoying as well, especially if you like have a blue box you want to roll a bunch of times. What you want to do, what I think should be done is, I definitely would like to see a shift-click option. Actually, let me go to the game real quick. I have one pulled up right here and I can show you. So basically, I have my strong box right here, and it's unidentified. And one thing I've been having problems with is I'll click it, I'll see that it's on my cursor, I'll click the box, and sometimes when I click the box, it won't roll, and I'll walk toward it and click on it. So if I'm way back here and I click on this, my guy's going to go and try to roll it. So I have to kind of click out in order to stop my character from opening that box. Now, let's see. Let's say I wanted to change this. I like the 40 increased quantity, but just for demonstration purposes, I'm going to hold shift like you would normally if you're going to re-roll an item. Let's roll this wand real quick. I can show you. You can do that. And actually, I want to keep this wand. What about this? Alright, well, here, we'll re-roll this once. So, I roll this, I want to re-roll it, I can shift-click to keep rolling the item over and over again. And I love that feature. It makes it extremely easy to re-roll. As well as, if you have it set up right, you can also be holding still while you open these boxes, which I feel like that's the only way to be able to re-roll them, is to hold down your attack while holding still button. Because I've been having some problems where I'll go to re-roll, and if you shift click, you roll once, it doesn't even let me roll it. I'm holding shift click and clicking it, not using my items. So you have to, in order to do it, you have to click on it, and if you want to roll it again, you have to click in place, and you have to keep doing that over and over. which is good because it makes you really read what you're rolling and gives you a little bit of time. But also, I don't like that because if you misclick, your guy will go to open the box and you have to click away real quick. So one thing I think they should be able to do is you should be able to shift click the boxes. One thing I've been trying to do so I don't accidentally roll boxes is I've been putting on my don't move, like attack while holding still button and then re-rolling them. But why didn't that work? There we go. So this one looks like a good box. So one thing I was thinking as well as with the enemy spawn area is if you go to open a box, they're all going to spawn right on that box. And I think it's fine. But I think they should actually spread out the area so that way when you have to run out, there's guys over here that I could have to run away from to get away from that explosion, which would also block my movement and make it harder to get away. So I feel like that would be a good way for me to, or for the grinding gear to really balance out these boxes. And I also feel like it would be a good way to help with the desync issue where you get all these guys on top of you and you try to run away. All of a sudden you're right back over here taking damage because of server desync. So really I feel that overall I love Ambush. I love the box idea and I love Invasion. These have been my two favorite leagues yet. They're just amazing. I'm in love with them. Couple invaders could be nerfed, but honestly it's not too bad. I don't find it extremely pressing issue that they nerf the two invaders I mentioned before, but I think it would really make it more enjoyable, especially to new players that just are afraid of being just destroyed when they find and run up against these guys. And the ambush, the strong boxes, I really think that they just need to, like I was saying, make the couple of the mods increase in area size just to make it a little more balanced, and then really nerf that ice nova, not the AOE but the damage, because I feel like that's extremely strong compared to some of the other ice novas you face in the game. And the last thing is that desync. So I feel like if they spread out the monsters just a little bit from those strong boxes, I feel like it would eliminate some of that desync you may have because they won't all be right on top of you. And it's going to make it a little bit more balanced because in order to run away, you're going to have to be taking hits from these monsters. The only downside again being that if you're in a small area like in the prison, they might spawn in other rooms, but that already happens anyway. So let me know what you guys think. Leave a comment in the comment section. You can send me a message about any suggestions you think, or just your opinion, basically. I want to hear from you guys. And I also want you guys to send me suggestions any way you can. Message me on Twitch, message me on YouTube, Facebook page, leave a little post there. Any way you can get in touch with me. I want to know what you guys want to see for more videos, and I want to know what you guys really like that I'm doing and things that I think you can change. Again, I'm sorry about the camera quality in the last video. I fixed my camera a little bit now, so I should be a little bit better. I'm still having lag issues, so I'm really sorry if my mouth is not matching up with my voice. I'm going to try to work on that. But please give me a subscribe on YouTube if you like my videos. Give me a follow on Twitch. And again, I'm dethplaque, and I will see you guys next week.